So today I was able to check out Insidious Out of the Further, and I had really low expectations for this movie going into it because I thought the trailer looked really bad, and there hasn't been a really good Insidious film since the original. And that being said, I was a bit pleasantly surprised by this film. I hesitate to call it good, and we'll get to why in a minute. But for starters, I think that this film actually has some really well-crafted and creatively directed scares. There's a couple sequences in the first half specifically that are really well done. Those being a sequence in a dentist's office and another scene in a pillow fort have some really creative directing and had a couple jump scares that actually got me because of how well crafted they were. There's especially one shot inside the pillow fort scene that has some really creative camera work that I can't say I've ever really seen a film visualize a scene like that before. I also quite liked the main character of this movie. I found her to be a pretty relatable character. I really liked her relationship with her daughter, and the opening scene of the movie is genuinely frightening and does a good job at getting you invested in this story and this character. All that being said though, the film almost entirely falls apart in the back half with how stupid and contrived the plot gets. The villain demon is pretty bad and boring in this film. His plan doesn't make a ton of sense. All the lore that they introduce into this film to make his plan work, it just ends up making the movie feel more convoluted than anything else. And the character's plan to combat this villain demon is even dumber than his plan, so much so that the scene where they were explaining it genuinely felt like it was ripped out of Stranger Things 5 with how convoluted and stupid it was. Plus, there's a very glaring plot hole in the third act that just had me groaning, and I could not move past it because the entire climax could have been resolved in a second if they just did one thing involving a cop character that they just did not do at all. And while there were some moments in the climax that I enjoyed with some pretty campy scares, overall, it just felt a bit underwhelming with this concept of the demons coming out of the further having so much potential, and I just didn't feel like it delivered on that much. Although, I will say, if they explore this concept again, I'm excited to see what they do, because this idea of the demons leaving the further and terrorizing the world and creating an apocalypse of sorts has a lot of potential. So I really hope that the creatives that worked on this film choose to move forward with the franchise in that direction. All that being said, I had a good enough time with Insidious Out of the Further. It has some good scares and a pretty likable main character, but a really stupid plot in the back half of the film almost ruined the whole movie for me. So I'm feeling a pretty strong 2.5 out of 5 with a heart on this one. Even still, it's the best Insidious film since the original.